getting the confirmation. Excellent. That's what I like to see.
Yeah, UCSD's got to be watching their back. Otherwise, it's going to be them looking at themselves in the mirror because Dumbbell is going to shatter all expectations and give Baker Swarm the second pistol round of Split. But now they need to figure out the ways to be able to convert that to the anti-eco.
Baker Swarm, I mean, they if nothing else, morally, they have the morale momentum, right? Not morally, morale. There's a slight difference there. They've won 6 of the last 7 rounds. That's got to feel good, especially going into this anti-eco on the attack. I mean, trying to play the defense with pistols on Split is nightmarish.
I don't envy anyone trying to do that either. You do have Melvin with the Headhunter, right? But there's only so much a Chamber can do when you have demons staring you down with a Phantom. Oh my gosh, we have this Expeditionary Force too. The demon is just holding this line. Good shot though from Chrome with the Sheriff. That's a nice headshot, but it's still just gonna see them back away and Rice Ball and picking up the Phantom from the Guardian.
Nice shot there from Fate. Outlaw doing its work against no armor. Chrome, don't do it! Don't! Stop try peeking corners! Please, for the love of God, UCSD!
Yeah, right. You gotta think too, because you have Frost so close with a Bucky of all things. Don't shoot that. Don't shoot the cone! Oh, they shot it, but they still get rid of Fate. All right. This is scary. This is difficult, but it is Melvin we're talking about here. They're going to jump down to the ground below. 6 bullets in the Headhunter. A 1v1 Dumbbell!
Oh.
The Spectre.
Excellent.
The hero of the hour.
Excellent movement, too, from Dumbbell. Crouching underneath the second headshot. An excellent swing from Dumbbell and barely able to keep Baker Swarm from losing yet another anti-eco. That would have been the second one UCSD flipped this map. So thankfully that won't have to be the case. Instead, they get a bonus. It's not going to be much of a bonus, admittedly. 1 rifle, a Bucky, some upgraded pistols, and a Stinger, it looks like. But at least UCSD no longer have the luxury of just having a complete economic turn for them. Instead, they're going to have to try and fend this off. And actually, with a full swarm out of B, I mean, Loki Cow is surely just going to get blitzed, right?
Wait.
Goodbye.
I mean, there was nothing Cal could do there. They were getting dumped on by all of the utility in the world, not to mention Fate popping in with the gate crash and the flash. It was just, what are you going to do? And now they have complete control of B. Go in with the Bucky, but guess what? The judge
bigger shotgun
a little bit faster. Rice Ball and not giving up the dream of the Bucky, though. Gets a double kill with it. Throws it right back in the face of UCSD.
Are you gonna? I thought he was gonna flash to get the gun for a second. Melvin with another headshot, though. Never count out the Headhunter.
Oh,
that does help, though.
World.
They're not looking for him, though. I think he's coming from behind. Melvin has picked up a judge. I don't know how useful it's going to be, although I'll eat my words. It gets 1. Surely not.
It's a deja vu moment.
Time,
right?
If nothing else.
Yeah, it's ladder. It's ladder and it's Dumbbell. They didn't get it last time. They're going to try and go for it more this time around, but they are running low on time. No more to be given. No more to be done. First it was Dumbbell. Now it's ladder. Each taking a piece of this chamber with them.
The slightest bit of timing there from Melvin. Even knew that if no one else was peeking a main, someone had to be coming from his left. But he thinks it's Heaven and it's actually Pillar. Nice wraparound there by ladder moves, shutting down potential clutches of Melvin round after round. Now, an eco here for UCSD. I mean, that's the bonus 1 for Baker Swarm. That was a very sparse bonus as well. And still, they'll be able to pull that through. Got to be a little bit careful of the tour de force. Melvin, seeing the pressure on B after these first 3 rounds, is going to be watching that with the tour de force.
There's a dimensional drift.
I don't think they're going to commit to this site here either. I mean, they're split all around the map now. They're just trying to get the orb and waiting to see if anyone will re-clear this.
Baker Swarm just putting the brakes on what has been undeniably explosive rounds from this team, right? Popping off all of the flashes in the world. They're going to regroup, but UCSD was playing the gamble stack on A. Fortunately, it's not going to work, and now we have, that's the dimensional drift. You know where Melvin is. You know they have tour de force, and that's gonna force them to TP away to protect themselves and maybe get some value out of this ultimate. But a loss of life in mid does give UCSD something to work with, albeit not much.
One rifle too. I mean, it's not a lot, but it's something. 5v2 with 2 actual weapons here. And a nice, well-timed Rolling Thunder too. That'll just disrupt UCSD now when they go for this retake, which they're more or less forced to with, you know, the poor weapons they have in their hands. They won't have much time to do their due diligence, and I don't know if they're going to be thinking about this wrap through mid either.
All right, good shot there. It's back and forth. The numbers even, 2v2. Melvin, hearing someone behind them, but again, you're dealing with the timer.
Nice.
A 1v1, it's rice balling, but you just got the tour de force. All you got to do is survive here, but again, Melvin wins here. It doesn't matter. The clock is gone. So
At least he gets to keep a gun this time, but 3 rounds in a row being just shy of clutching. That eats at the soul, if nothing else. And I thought that was a really well done round by UCSD. You know, the time was short thanks to that Rolling Thunder, but they put in an honest effort. I mean, the Trailblazer clearing sight, frags won favorably. Sure, the lurk through mid was difficult and caught Frost off guard, but Melvin was able to turn for it. Just came down to like a 1v1 on site that Riceballin was able to win, and then he stalls for the rest of that time. Baker Swarm, I mean, it's not as comfortable as the 5 rounds they won in a row on their defense. They are taking these inches where they can get them and keeping the pile stacking and stacking. Chrome falling. I mean, it's not a good omen for UCSD.
No, it's not. There's no omen on this map either. Which way? Oh, just a quick FYI.
Oh, no, thanks.
That's, sorry.
Stealing my own joke.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. You know me, I'm unoriginal. But here we have it. The Trailblazers going to go out. Melvin takes the swing. Somehow gets away with their life. Thinking they're lucky stars, but Wick finds one of their own. Again, it's these little plays that can happen that UCSD may be able to get something with. The regrowth is going to bring Melvin back to life somewhat, but it's not. Again, right? You're just knocking on death swords. So you had to be careful. And it's even worse too because Loki Cow.
Loki Cow,
caught out.
Where are you?
Yeah, right.
I fully thought that was the other spawn for a second.
There's a spike though.
The spike gets dropped in mid. What is happening in this round? Hold on, Frost. Okay. But now knows that. Whoa! And catches the timing. No way you win a second though. Yeah, Demon's got that. But a 1v2. And I mean, the lurk through B was dealt with. Demon is heard trampling through vent here because you only have 17 seconds. Surely Melvin catches this.
Surely they do, right? This is Melvin we're talking about here. The chamber extraordinaire. They're coming out with their knife.
What?
The classic!
What?
Oh, the classic of all things. Give me a break, dude.
That is filthy. If Demon wins this off a jumping classic right click, no one will ever recover from this, and the showstopper is out. Demon not making any noise.
No one knows where anybody
a
is.
landmine to step on, but he doesn't even fire it. Doesn't give away his position. Wick in the corner. It's a nice angle, but the flick is better from Demon.
Let's keep it going.
That's it, right? That's the game. That's basically just the game we
That's-
witnessed.
If that's not the game, look, there might be another rifle buy for UCSD, if only barely. Mentally losing that round, that chaotic round, that round where Loki Cow pushes out into the enemy spawn, and at the end of the round, Chrome gets a jumping, flying right click from heaven onto Melvin. Mentally, if I was playing, I've checked out of the game. Thankfully, the UCSD players are way better than me. Their mentals, their fortitude, much stronger. So they will try and take this back, especially since it's their map pick. And they haven't really even put a round up. Like, other than... Yeah, no, actually, not at all. On defense, they haven't put a single round up.
Not one. Not one. And then let's not forget either, right? It was 6 rounds in a row for Baker. UCSD wins 1. And then it's just been a runaway series here of a defense half from Baker Swarm. UCSD, we just got Frost. He's going to be short.
I mean, he's dead.
There's no... Okay, all right.
They're holding for the jump peak.
It's signed, sealed, and delivered. They went for the jump peak, but Rice balling. The aim, immaculate. We were singing the high praises for UCSD. Well, Baker Swarm, They deserve a medal of their own right now.
I love this pivot too from Baker Swarm. They're not fully committing to B yet. They don't know if that's what they truly want. They're going to wait for their Vise. They're going to wait until they have everything they want to set up, because they know even if there's a rotate, they have to have someone out in mid. Low-key Cat will clear it now, so that does bring more people back over. Wick managing to get on the site. I don't know if I want to play on site against this many flashes. I'm going to be honest. And here comes a Vice ult too. This is tough.
Yeah, Wick gets out just in the nick of time, but the same can be said for your Raze. Bladder moves, keeping an eye on the flank too. Out comes the showstopper. But again, like you said, it's classic. And that range, well, Melvin, I hope you enjoyed that operator, because not much more you're going to be able to get out of it other than the final player you took down with it. Baker Swarm, this is a confident stride.
And Low-key Cow, I mean, unless there was a UI glitch, Low-key Cow had a rifle. Why are you swinging that with a classic when you have a Phantom in your pocket? Bizarre stuff from UCSD on this defense, unfortunately, and I don't think they've been able to catch up with the pace Baker Swarm have been setting. This has been a tough second half. I mean, even the first half, I mean, they went neck and neck, sure, but it was a tale of two quarters in the first half, if nothing else.
It's just, I don't know what happened.
And I really haven't seen a single round where UCSD felt like they had a specific plan to go for. You know, like a lot of these rounds, it's just people holding defaults and hoping they'll win gunfights. And if you lose the gunfight and you don't have a specific plan for after that, you're gonna run into a problem. And even here, Low-key Cow's in mid. Sure, this is a cheeky spot if they don't clear it. But do you think that Chrome is gonna be able to cover you? That's not a 180 angle. There's no player B main. If you get flashed, you're done.
Yep. Okay. I mean, good attempt here by Low-key Cow to get away with more than they should have. Rice Ballin will fall, but again, that's just one player. That's just you breaching. You're down below. It's the shorty again. The shorty. Frost all alone, all by themselves, all on B, while all of the action is happening on A. Spike is going to be planted there, and now it's down to the 1v4.
At least the Seekers let him know that the Spike is on B. Oh.
And it's not even far enough. It was too far. It's not going to detect anybody. That's the problem. And Fate, with the operator shot rung and heard throughout the world. Baker Swarm, 13-6, map number 1.
I mean, just timeout diff. Yeah. Timeout diff. After that timeout, UCSD won one round. One round. And it was just the round where they waterfalled B, like through B main, and just caught Baker Swarm off guard. Every other round since that timeout, UCSD lost. Unbelievable from Baker Swarm, truly. I mean, that game was not looking good for Baker Swarm. Melvin was completely diffing them. Baker didn't have any sort of control of the map. They were getting completely off guard. And then one little timeout, and Baker Swarm never put their guard down again. They bullied Melvin every round that they could. They sent shorties and stuns and everything his way. And they just kept, it was a game of keep away from the rest of the team. Just little skirmishes, not really letting the team ever get full control of anywhere, not letting them go for full executes comfortably until they had already lost important utility. Beautiful fighting, beautiful game from Baker Swarm. That's just map 1, but that was UCSD's map. So if that's how the split went, Fracture, I don't know how I feel about that one, Sam.
Yeah, Paul, listen, I don't know what happened in that timeout, but I need to know whatever motivational speech that was given out by someone. I need to get that in writing. I need to like tape that on my fridge or whatever, because to go from the half that you were having to a almost flawless performance from that point on is just it's a spectacle to behold, and so was that map number 1 of Split. 13-6. So we are going to go to a short break, right? We do have Baker Swarm up 1 on UCSD. If they're able to take the map of Fracture, that's going to be your week 1 victor here, looking at Baker Swarm. So UCSD a lot on the line to make sure that does not happen. Find all of that out and more after the break. It was like a dominant first piece of Split for the Demigods until it fell way to a Baker swarm, just whatever. It was decimation of UCSD Gold. And so now we take a look at our next map of Fracture here, Paulsable, to see if maybe the tides can be turned. But before we go into that, we do have some stats to take a look at from our previous map.
And I mean, these stats are going to sing the story. Obviously, Melvin did phenomenal, right? As an individual player, and Frost certainly getting in on the action as well. But I think the struggle across everything for Melvin and the rest of UCSD was, despite a couple first kills, despite some good pressure on the flank side of the map, once they couldn't rely on that flank, once they couldn't rely on Melvin to just diff one person and then, hey, the map will look different and more favorable for us as the defenders split up, UCSD didn't feel like they really had a plan, at least much of a plan. Sometimes they try to get mid control, but it didn't really look good. Their timings on trying to trade each other off, their spacing didn't quite look right. So certainly a struggle from UCSD, and that's not even to speak to their defensive half where they didn't win a single round. So certainly going to need to take a moment during this break that we had between the couple of maps, these 5 or so minutes, take a deep breath and figure out once again, hey, we maybe need to tighten things up a little bit, I think is the name of the game for UCSD.
Yeah, it was looking at that performance coming at the very beginning moments of Split towards the end for UCSD was just, man, the script got lost somewhere in there. That confidence, that explosiveness that we had from that team at the very beginnings just fell off completely to the wayside. And again, on their own map pick. And so you see how the Baker Swarm performed on that map. You see now they're going into Fracture, where I'm sure, right, this team threw all conventional agent choice out of the window for what they've been consistent with when it came to the map of Split. Now setting their eyes on Fracture, who knows what we could possibly get out of this team. I mean, we talked a little bit about the Tejo and how prevalent that he's been on Fracture. I wouldn't be surprised if we get that look from both of these teams. I wouldn't be surprised if they're really trying to stretch their wings here in week number 1, getting out of that comfortability and really setting themselves up for success as the season goes on. But for Baker Swarm, they're looking so strong. They're looking so immaculate, and they're looking so very well practiced in a lot of the different moments where they need to win rounds.
And their comp on Split, at first looked a little bit funny, but it did look modern, if nothing else, right? They're running they're running device. A lot of these like more modern picks that very successful teams have agreed, if you are coordinated enough, will end up being extremely successful. I think of the Sentinels currently in the game, I think the most oppressive one is the Steel Garden from Vise. I mean, obviously there's Lockdown, but Lockdown has a lot of counterplay around it, whereas Steel Garden, it's just run away. That's the only counterplay. And if you're running away, great. That means the ult did what it needed to. So I think Baker Swarm certainly looking up to date. They're looking classy, and that again, that timeout they took, I gotta wonder what Dumbbell was saying to him. Dumbbell, someone with a long history of experience coaching different teams in Valorant, right? Has been coaching one squad or another throughout like the echelons of like the tier 3 kind of scene since like 2021. So dude's got his reps in, if nothing else. So makes sense that Baker Swarm were able to benefit off of his advice there in the middle of Split.
Yeah, and again, you're talking about reps, right? The Aspire Swarm squad, that is rep after rep. I mean, you look at their VLR history, and that is stacked to the gills between tier 3 tournaments, playing inside of challengers, OQs. This team is just putting themselves out there over and over and over again. And that team cohesion, right? That timeout, that comes off the back of understanding each other, knowing what needs to be done, how the ship needs to be tightened, and everything that needs to be fixed. So we're going to take a look at Agent Select now, going into Fracture here, Paulsable. I'm ready to be blown away. That's it.
I'm hoping to see Melvin on a duelist.
Oh, wait.
But I think it's going to be Chamber again. Okay, it's Chamber again. Ooh, I like this comp from Baker's Swarm. Actually, I like this comp from both. Wait, is that a mirror comp? No, not quite. The difference of the Neon versus the Rays. Interesting. Neon, obviously, a lot of teams have fallen away from that Neon since like the nerfs that happened a couple patches ago. But it's not that Neon is unplayable. We saw a couple of teams in VCT. I think it was Evil Geniuses, if I remember correctly, running that a little bit. Or no, maybe it was it EG? Maybe it was 100. I don't remember. Anyways, it has reared its head a couple of times, but it has certainly been more sparse. Although, if there was a map to play Neon on, I would assume Fracture would be one of the more viable.
No, I couldn't agree more, right? Small map, the fast lane able to get maximum value on these tighter corridors. And so now we're seeing map number 2, UCSD on the attack yet again. This 3-stack into mid, going to arcade, no, 4-stack rather, in through arcade, completely catching Rice Ball off guard, did not know where it was coming from. And so now we get to get a taste of the Baker Swarm Chamber in ladder moves. Melvin is low on their own HP, and they're hanging on for dear life, right, with this classic. They are right here on the other side of this. Someone clear it out, please. Anybody clear it out. Eventually it does happen, but it took too long to make anything happen. And it sacrifices their life. Loki Cal, the final remaining player, gonna take a couple of bot shots from Fate. Last 7 HP to get rid of here. And once the aftershock is gone, they're just gonna go for the defuse. A clean headshot here is gonna give Baker Swarm yet again a perfect pistol round record in the series.
I mean, I thought it was a really well-timed execute from UCSD. I really liked the guided salvo immediately, followed by Chrome just blast packing onto the site. But I think Melvin tried to steal the golden fleece a little bit, greeting. I think trading for one there, trading for the Neon would have been okay. I understand. I mean, you see that nobody clears you. You always want to try and hold for more, but rice balling. No, it wasn't rice balling. It was Fate doing a phenomenal job. Look, the breach tripped me up. The Fate doing a phenomenal job making sure that corner was, in fact, cleared, and Melvin's not able to get anything out of that. And once Melvin's gone, the pin that was holding that post plant together flopped out.
Oh, I like this.
Oh, and this is aggressive. I mean, do you want to do this with guns? Apparently you do.
Yeah, just run them down. You dump every single piece of utility, right? You flash them, you fault line them, you hit them with the guided salvo, you hit them with the everything. The special delivery. What are you gonna do with just pistols if you're UCSD? You just stand there in the corner and get bullied.
I am a timid man, so I wouldn't go with that play. But Baker Swarm, they are not cowards like me. They are more willing to go for a play like that. And like you said, the util, I mean, along with the fact that Baker Swarm actually all went out, right? It wasn't a bunch of util thrown and then one person with a gun trying to swing for something. It was 3 people with guns all swinging for something and the Neon coming around through sand as well and through dish. So excellently done, Baker Swarm. If you're going to push out as a defending team on Fracture, everybody needs to be on the same page. It needs to be a coordinated effort. It can't be one person hoping they get something. So nicely done by Baker Swarm. And I mean, Melvin has been an ace with this headhunter thus far, but I do not see a clutch in his near future.
Yeah, ace, right? He's been an ace with that headhunter. He needs an ace to win this round.
Yeah.
So there's very slim pickings of that actually happening. And don't forget, all of the util is going to start coming back online for Baker. Like you said, there's no time. Their fault lines are coming back. The guided salvos are coming back. He may be able to get away with one more if he gets lucky on Rice Ball and down below. But again, you're talking about luck here. Ooh, not luck. Pure skill from Melvin. That's all it is.
Hey, you take it, right? Take what you can get at this point. I mean, that's essentially what? Hold on, math. 1, 12, 14 of the last 15 rounds that this series has played. Baker Swarm have won.
Oof.
That's tough. So you take what little wins you can get where you can get them. And Melvin actually picking up the Spectre here, trying to save some economy for if they win this round but lose some guns. Maybe he can try and play for the Tour de Force in the sometime in the near future. But
oh my God! The Mad Swings wants to do it again.
Yeah, I mean, you had no right to survive or win that. And UCSD on their gun round are slaughtered by almost the same play on the other side of the map.
They want to go for this arcade fight, right? They want to try and take these wins here, but it's just not working out for them. I mean, one player is enough to stem the tides of this team. Where we were talking about how great Fate was doing, now Rice Ballin is at the top of the leaderboard. I mean, your initiators are 6 and 5, Paul.
And I'm gonna be honest, it's the same problem. It's the same problem, different map for UCSD. Baker Swarm had completely read into their 4-1 style. And in these first 3 rounds, they keep trying to let Melvin do his own thing, try and let Melvin get whatever picks he wants, and we'll just try and survive as a team. But Baker Swarm are more than happy to play into this 4v1 if they can just keep Melvin from getting anything.
Good lord.
Speaking
A breathing, you'll miss a moment. Rice Ballin got a little too overeager to take that engagement.
Hey,
now we're seeing that happen again. The hailstorm of bullets from the Stinger is just too much for any one player from Baker to survive through. And finally for UCSD, hope in the darkness.
Frost, ooh, managed to get away with the gun too. I'd like to see Frost trade that to somebody with a little bit more HP, I think. But I think actually maybe enough guns have been recovered where that's not necessary. Either way, a tricky retake, 2v4, some low health though, and Demon is in. Oh, he's stunned! What a pick!
That's gotta be painful, right? You got stuck inside of the fault line with a paint shell coming in your direction. There was only so much that you could do there. Now Fate, it's only so much that he can do, right? Surely in a 1v2. Wick stepping up to the plate. 4 kills to make this round finally happen for UCSD in the map of Fracture.
And I just want to point out, that's the first round UCSD has won in a long time. And it was a round where they all stuck together on their attack. It was a round where they all stuck together. They all had the same game plan. None of this 4-1 shenaniganery with Melvin hoping he magically kills 3 like he did in the early echelons. And they're all sticking together again. I was worried it was just an eco round thing, but they have realized that they do better as a squad.
Yeah, and you're throwing down smokes to give yourself. Oh my God,
Evil.
Rice Ballin.
Illegal.
There's no way. In what world are we living in that you walk away with 1 through the smoke? Ew. Ew.
You put this guy on an Interpol watch list. That cannot be something that is allowed by the Geneva Conventions.
And they hear it too. They hear the Ultor being picked up, so they know they're just on the other side of this smoke. And Rice Ballin. You can see the Armageddon in their hand. They want to take this fight. They want someone to come on this side. They want to hear weaponry being wrung out.
I
Quick
like
Spider drone to
UCS
clear arcade.
and it doesn't find anything. There's a very real chance, based on the lack of information over in A halls, that Baker Swarm think this is a rotate, but now they'll know.
Dumbbell's safe from the Armageddon, right? Okay, it's gonna be good enough. Yeah, it's this ultimate. It didn't clear your corner. Dumbbell does run out of ammo, but it's their 1. And speaking of 1, there is only 1 left. It's Melvin. The smokes are still up to cover them. Gonna try and play around the spike timing to maybe grab a pick off here. Someone getting overzealous on wanting to take that fight. But until the spike is planted, Baker has no reason to move, right? They have to plant it eventually. They're just barely missing that operator shot. Melvin's going to be feeling that one in the morning. Let's see if Ladder Move's going to be able to land it here. No. It's a clap back. But now if you're Demon, right? You're going to play for time. You're going to play for Melvin to over the spike. But my word, Melvin and UCSD by the skin of their teeth.
The clutches that were denied for Melvin round after round on their defensive split. Finally, he gets one. That's got to be gas in the tank for UCSD. They stuck together as a team. Yes, the trades were bloody. It was not a surefire thing. Not clearing that corner, brutal, right? But they stuck together. In the early round, they didn't all fall to a push out by Baker, even with that nasty little pick onto Frost. UCSD are able to claw their way back into this. We do have a pause. It seems to be a technical pause. Uh-oh, I wonder if the player crashed again.
I'm going to be a little sad. It does give us time to dissect this round a little more, though, right? We got Chrome with their ultimate, the Showstopper online. It can go on to DRA, but may not elect to use it here with UCSD on such a light buy.
And if we're talking about alts, what you really have to be afraid of is the Neon alt, right? I mean, that is a thrifty machine if there ever was one. Demon is absolutely going to be looking for an opportunity to use that. And you can actually see a ton of pings coming out over on the B side. So Baker Swarm, they got something cooking up. And I mean, Rolling Thunder and the Neon alt, I mean, that is a lot of damage if you can catch the right timing. That is deadly even against rifles. So you got to be very careful here as UCSD how you approach this.
No, absolutely. Give Loki Cow a opportunity to farm those old orbs for the Rolling Thunder, right? It's a couple of ways that Baker Swarm can still fight back against UCSD, but it's still going to be a tough round for them. You still have the rest of the squad not quite at that level where, sure, Demon has the overdrive, they have the neon ult, but it's like you said, it can be that thrifty maker. It's just, how do we set our neon up to be able to make that happen? For a team like Baker, though, we've seen how that works, and for what they have on their side with the Tejo, with the breach, there's possibilities abound. But as Tech Pause looking like it may be going on for just a little bit longer, plausible. So we'll hold on tight. We'll talk our way through how Fracture's been going. So yeah, we're getting a direct line that they are going to be unpausing soon. So hey, Fracture, it's been a crazy map though, a lot more competitive than what we've seen from Split.
And I think in an ideal world, Baker Swarm are able to play a Flood retake, or are they just gonna send it out B? Oh, they send it out B. If they get contact over on A, okay, there goes the Rolling Thunder. Now it's all on Demon.
Wow, it was all on Demon. Now maybe it may all be on ladder moves, but Dumbbell is still in the backlines, right? You're gonna pick up this Fallen Vandal. Clear your corners. Frost is gonna hold that angle. Loki Cow is gonna get the plant down. And now you go for the final one to go. The final piece of the puzzle for UCSD to tie this map up 3-3. It's just chilling in your CT. All eyes on this location. Smoke going to go down to help cover their way in through the door. It opens it, right? But it's not only going to draw away one player, because at this point, if you're UCSD, you just know where this Brimstone's going to be coming, right? They absolutely do, and that's UCSD tying things up 3-3.
Really nice from UCSD. That was one of the one of the problems I had with UCSD on their attack of Split was it rarely ever felt like they had a plan. It was just, putting Melvin on an island and praying a lot of the time. That round, there was an undeniable plan from UCSD. They knew what the threats were, and they knew if they met them head on with a showstopper and with greater guns, greater utility, even if the trades went more favorably than you would think on an eco, that UCSD were going to be able to power through that and get on to A. They completely neutralized the overdrive on the flank, and it's a beautiful round. Now it's a tied game, and guns for everyone in the lobby. Early Rolling Thunder to catapult Chrome onto A, but he doesn't make it. He gets stuck.
Yeah, he gets stuck. He even gets stunned down too. Ladder moves is going to fall. Chrome is going to fight back as well. UCSD Gold giving them the old 1-2 punch against Baker Swarm. This B-side exec has been nothing short of spectacular over and over. The Aftershock is not going to be fast enough to stop the spike from being planted, but it is a 2v5, and final two players, well, make that final one player. I do not envy Demon's chances to get the ace.
This is the UCSD we've been waiting to see since the first quarter of Split. Welcome back. Okay. I mean, Demon doesn't have a chance here, really. You're going to get one onto Chrome because he clears the wrong way. Wait, Chrome just fully leaves.
Okay, all right.
Wait.
Is this...
He doesn't have time for a ninja defuse, surely, right? He doesn't have time for a ninja defuse, surely, right?
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
And just barely.
That too. What is going on, Paul? Wait a minute.
If that happens a half second faster, I think he actually gets the ninja defuse there. Oh my, okay, but it's fine. Look, it all comes out in the wash for UCSD. Don't even fret. Okay, and it's a good round nonetheless by UCSD, even with the hiccups to their B exec. Chrome and Melvin able to do exactly what they want. And this is why I wanted UCSD playing as a team. This is why I said, hey, let's put Melvin on a duelist. He's on Chamber, but it still works as long as Melvin is with the rest of the team. Chrome and Melvin as a duo, it's almost impossible to fully win against them in just a straight up frag head-to-head. And you can see, I mean, especially with pistols, Baker Swarm aren't going to be able to do anything.
Ooh, and look at this, right? You had all of the players going in through arcade. They tried to go for that util dump again. This time, Baker Swarm is going to go in through... Whoa.
That's fine.
Looked like they just barely missed it there, but hey, guess what? They survive, they live, they thrive, and they have 3K to smile at.
Yeah, very nicely done. And the timeout does come in for Baker Swarm. I mean, if they manage to win just a bunch of rounds in a row after this one, we're going to be talking about these timeouts ad nauseum for Baker Swarm.
Gotta dissect them, right?
Yeah, exactly. But for now, at least, I think Baker need to just keep their I mean, I think they just need to take a breath, honestly. I get why they want to play aggressive, especially with the Neon, but I think this is also a composition that can really find success on a Flood retake, especially on Fracture. You have to use so much utility as UCSD's composition to just gain access to the site. I mean, if the paint shell, smokes, flashes are all being used to get onto A or B, then I think there's an opportunity, especially with the Rolling Thunder and Orbital Strike in your pocket, to try and disrupt a spike plant and get in, throw UCSD off their timing.
And I think that's what the crux of this timeout is as well, right? Get those ultimates used appropriately, get them, figure out the right timings to get the maximum value out of them, and stand tall against UCSD. Because you do look over at what their ultimates are. It may seem sparse, but that Armageddon really can throw a wrench into the plans of whatever Baker was having in their mindset coming out of the back of that timeout. So here we have it, right? UCSD is 2 rounds in the lead. Baker gets weapons back in their hands. Came off of a timeout. This needs to be the one for them to win.
They've gone back to the 4-1 as well, or rather a 3-1-1. Melvin alone and Wick. Wick, of all players, holding for the flank, but it was just at the early round. They just wanted to get an orb and deemed that was the easiest one to get. Melvin took a chunk of damage, but traded back as good as he got, though. Both chambers exponentially low.
We're keeping eyes inside of tunnel. We're keeping eyes on what's happening in heaven. Riceballin has to hear the spider drone coming in their area. The smokes are set up.
Hello?
Cleared. Evan, what were the eyes on that? Riceballin got away with that for free. Now they're going to send out another spider drone, thinking that they're going to be a little closer with that orbital strike. That is the calling card for UCSD to back away and go where their chamber had gained so much space inside of A, but the site still has life in it, right? You're seeing one player in Sands, one player in Heaven, the high-low.
Armageddon too, to try and cut off the rotates. More than anything else, they're willing to fight site players, but they've got stalled out a little bit on the time too. Nice Rolling Thunder back. Wick slaughtered. The drop does not go favorably. The pace does not work out. UCSD annihilated as a flawless round comes through for Baker Swarm.
Oh boy! All right, Paul. Are we getting split deja vu?
I mean, that was the timeout, right?
We got the timeout, and is this the Baker Swarm? What? 11 rounds in a row? 20 rounds in a row? 30? I don't know at this point for how this team has been playing, but
the good news is if they get
it can only be
they can't get 20 rounds in a row. Otherwise, the series is over.
Paul,
so it won't be that.
Like that timeout, anything's possible when Baker Swarm takes a timeout.
The most they can get is 9. That's how math works. Whoa.
Okay. Well, I am seeing some math.
Sure.
It was 1 for 2, and I believe 2 is greater than 1, so UCSD comes out ahead in the numbers game.
I'll have to pull out the calculator. Hold on.
Okay, all right. I'll give you some time to do that, but you're going to see the spike planted. UCSD.
My calculator just says you're an idiot. But it's like to me. Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Well, you know what? You can just break that calculator in half.
No, it's on my phone.
Just break your phone.
No. All right. This is a very serious retake here. Well, it's less serious now. A 2v4. Yeah, Chrome is just doing Chrome things. Okay, see, I told you it wasn't going to be a million rounds in a row.
It's good for UCSD too, right? You have 6 rounds in the half. You're looking kind of similar to what you did on Split against Baker Swarm. Seeing the tour de force ring out for this chamber. Ladder moves, getting an opportunity to use it now. I think looking at the way that Baker Swarm has been playing though, right? They're going for these aggressive plays again, but that time Riceballin was by themselves, right? They didn't have the support of the rest of the team to take that fight there. And it hurts so much when those engagements don't go in their way. And we see how the rest of the round plays out. It just does not pan out for them.
These chambers are always watching each other, but Melvin gets the spam. Unbelievable. Ladder moves hit the shot, but it was through a wall, so it didn't get the kill.
Oh, sneaky. What is this? What is going on anymore? Are we playing Valorant?
Again, Melvin almost gets away with something egregious, and only fate keeps Baker Swarm in it. But even that won't be enough. I mean, 2v4, Demon is spotted as a player coming around behind him, and UCSD are feeling fire right now.
Yeah, you hear the special delivery. Riceballin had to get away. They're going to take their fights. They're going to take their chances, but UCSD Gold has numbers. They have...
And
the lead on their side too.
And everything I wanted to see from UCSD, when I said at the very beginning of this map, just tighten it up a little bit, they've gone through. Their spacing is far superior. They're not losing out on untradeable things for the majority of the time, at least. Like, there was that one hiccup with Chrome getting caught from Heaven, but that's a hard angle to clear and hold for anyway. Like, there were people watching Heaven, just not that deep watching Heaven, right? You know, they're staying together for the most part. They're executing as a team. Sure, Melvin is going on these little trips, but he's much quicker to come back from them, and they're going poorly far fewer times. And we're going to see that showstopper going straight into A again. Melvin holding for the flank, but it's just Melvin all alone this time. Not a swarm of 3, so the overdrive gets a little bit more value.
Yeah, the thing that UCSD is going to be running into, though, is they are fighting a war on all sides, right? They're surrounded. They're going to have players using an Armageddon that's pushing them away in towards the A site where there was a main player. No more. They have to get on. They had to play a drop. They had to play for whatever they can, and they are dropping like flies. Baker Swarm. The Bees still got some sting to them.
And I mean, Swarm is the name of that round, right? Sure, UCSD is able to use the showstopper to get onto the site effectively, but Baker managed to get I mean, that post plant is gorgeous. Great retake. The Armageddon clearing. I mean, the overdrive giving you a ton of space on the flank, setting up that Armageddon. Once you make sure that they're out of halls, it's really easy to pinch onto the site. Very nicely timed. Very well done. UCSD with a small lead, but Baker Swarm has managed to get every single pistol this series so far, so if they're able to do that again, we're probably going to have a tied game pretty quick.
This feels like the pistol round of all pistol rounds for UCSD to win, right?
Yeah.
If they can do it here, that sets themselves up to go into the 9th round. That sets themselves up to be able to win this map of Fracture. At the very least, easier than they would have not winning the pistol round. It's not do or die for them, but it will make things so much easier on that road.
Contact here for Rice, ball and completely alone. He didn't see anyone. He's going to run into more people than he expects. And even just Chrome is enough to get the job done. Now the rest of UCSD doubling back to the site too. Great timing. Demon fast on the pace. But that fight with Chrome doesn't go too hot.
Wow. Decimation. UCSD. They want that map number 3. You can feel it in their bones.
That was completely without Melvin, too. Melvin was trying to wrap around slowly, like through dish. Dude was not needed. Hey, the rest of his team was like, hey, Melvin, you know what? You've been working really hard. You can sit this one out, no worries about it.
Break, buddy.
Yeah, take a little bit of break. You certainly have earned it. Chrome has really been coming to life this map, too, in a way that we didn't see from Chrome on Split. And that's so important out of your raise specifically. On a map like Fracture, you need those entries to be going well. And Chrome being able to keep pace and not let Demon get ahead of everyone and catch people off guard has been huge.
Ooh, Melvin can't get out though, right? They've been suppressed. They've been not. They're being chased with the shorty. It's like, what? Classic! Melvin got their revenge against Demon with it, but Rice Ballin catches up to them at the last second with the Sheriff. They tried to go in for another pickoff. It's just a little too much. Wait a minute. No one knows. Ladder's right there.
What?
Oh my gosh, man. You cannot miss those, please. You're just going to keep trying to fight it out, too. You're going to run them down. And then Fate.
Okay.
Baker Swarm. It felt like they had it in the palm of their hands for a second.
Baker Swarm, I've really been liking how you've been playing. This is the first time I've watched you, but I'm going to say this. That was biblical levels of greed that round. That is unbelievable. You go for the knife? You slow walk at it with the knife? And then you don't try and get the headshot. You try and body shot spam Loki. I mean, just unbelievable. It's okay though. They were destined. They were fated to lose that round. Anyways, that was the anti-eco for UCSD. So now that we get guns in Baker Swarm's hands, this is the ever important round if they don't want UCSD to start to run away with this.
Get a good look at how many light shields
He's just
you
dead.
have. Yeah. No, Melvin lives. And the best part about it too was the just being far enough away from the guided salvo to keep them alive. Low-kick how? I mean, with a stinger of all things, you're fighting Demon, but now they're trying to double dip yet again. But these, when you give UCSD gold, a full team of stingers, they'll be able to make something happen here, right? Spider Drone's not gonna suppress Rice Ballin, but it is actually going to be good enough to stop the spike from being planted. And they're just going to take that paint shell, right? You really don't want to expose yourself any more than what you have to. It's down to the 2v2, but Rice Ballin can't peek out. They have to rely on Dumbbell to keep themselves alive. Meanwhile, this Stinger is going crazy. Now alone. It's Chrome with a Vandal, by the way, right? Low HP. The OG spray needs to be good, but Chrome is better to clutch out the round for UCSD and bring them into the double digits.
It's Chrome with the clutch, but the only reason that's even possible is because of Frost. The amount of obnoxious stall that Frost pulls off on the A site, I mean, juggling that corner, not allowing Rice Ballin ever to plant, pulling out the stealth drone just to annoy him, say, hey, it's okay. They have to, they spend so much time, Baker Swarm, trying to deal with Frost, that Chrome is able to actually get in position to fight, to assist. And then in a 2v2, that's winnable. Now Baker Swarm, they have to try and go for something bold. It's an eco for him. I mean, Stingers, hey, they worked for one team. Why won't they work for the other?
Yeah, exactly, right? I think I see another Stinger nerf incoming. All right, folks are going to go up finally, cutting off sight lines from Heaven and inside of CT2, the Spider Drone. Just a little bit further, but hey, you heard it ring out. The Operator taken down to heal by Demon. Down to the 2v3. Demon on death's door, 35 HP to their name. It's got to get planted eventually, sometime, some way. It's got to happen. It does.
I mean, 2v3. Okay,
Oh, no.
2v2 a little bit more winnable. Some damage done to Demon as well. Very low, but it would take 2 bullets from anything other than a Vandal. Nice swing from Wick. Now it's all on Demon and not much health to his name.
He took safely, right? They didn't make any noise. They still have to play on the other side of the smoke, and they're running out of ammo, right? The defuse is going to come in, but Demon doesn't know how much time they have to work with. They can't
He's gonna run out of ammo.
Anything that's going to happen, right? 25 HP. Frosty's going to hold. Frosty's going to hold. Nobody's stopping them. And then they get the final bullet on the Demon.
Unbelievable. So that's straight up. Look, as a commentator, I like to have tactics, like, you know, talk about all the different intricacies. Straight up, unlucky for Demon there. The spam there is a straight up field goal between Wick and the diffuser. That is brutal. And another timeout coming in here for Baker Swarm. I mean, fair enough. 2 rounds left to play. That was an eco, but this will be an ever so pivotal gun round, and you're going up against the showstopper. Chrome has been such a menace with these, or at least was on the attacking side. This is the first one of the defense. And you've still got the Armageddon to try and contend with, too. I mean, this comp is so difficult to plant against. There's 4 ults designed to stop you from planting, designed to enable a flood retake. Just figuring out how to get to site can be difficult enough on Fracture, but once you get there, you have so much to try and deal with for Baker Swarm. And if Chrome gets a favorable engage, if Melvin finds something, I mean, that could be all she wrote for Fracture. We could be well on our way to Haven.
And these map picks, right, for both of these teams are kind of allergic to it. Previous map being the map choice of UCSD, this one being the choice of Baker Swarm. It's not
If I had a nickel for every time I'd seen that in Collegiate Valorant, where teams trade each other's map picks.
Yeah. It's tough going here. Tough going. But let's see how coming off the back of this timeout is gonna work. What? Maybe not so poor. Right? You got a little bit. You took out one and you took a lot of the HP away from another. Demon is gonna lead the way on to the site. Rice Ballin is gonna fight back against Wick. No flash here needed. Low-key count. They think that the spike is gonna be planted in one direction. Aftershock not quite going where it needs to be. Now we got Armageddon in exchange for the Oral Strike. Ooh, Loki cow! Wow, massive!
No way!
Has to trade immediately. It's a 2v2 yet again.
I mean, that was the Armageddon that fell. Fate is seen. With just one player in tower, I mean, surely you expect Dumbbell to be playing way out in B main. Time is running low. Face wrapped completely around, but he doesn't get the kill, and Dumbbell falls.
They can't get over to it. The spike still needs to be defused, but now they've run out of time.
What a stun.
No, they don't. Is Frost gonna do it again? They stopped playing it for them. Frost is doing it again. Frost is doing it again.
Oh no! Frost sneaking another one away. Baker Swarm unable to solidify their post plant. They can't keep the spike from getting diffused. What a round from UCSD. I mean, low-key Cow with some egregious gunfight wins. How? First off, that fight against Demon, in what world pulling out your gun do you win that one? Then he gets another one coming off the rope onto Riceballin. Riceballin had the Armageddon. That was the most important thing for Baker Swarm to keep hold of. And once that was down, it was just a straight 2v2. I mean, Chrome is dead here.
No.
But he gets one!
No. He's
Surely.
dead here.
Why is he dead there? Everybody else
Chrome
is dead there.
dying. Finally, they walk through death's door, but for Baker Swarm, this is good tidings, right? It's just one player, surely. Wick, surely they're not going to win the 1v3.
Don't you dare cast a curse this. Don't you dare. Dumbbell's reloading!
Surely not. Surely with no HP. Wick, a hope, a dream, and all of UCSD believing in them. 13-5 on Fracture. Paul, my man. That was the most spectacular curse I've ever done in my entire career. I gotta admit.
Honestly, like, S tier caster curse.
Thank you.
Oh. Why are you reloading, my guy? I'm sorry, but my guy, like, your buddies aren't even on the site yet. We can't be reloaded. Just an unreal round. Look, the last round was silly. It's a crazy clutch from Wick. But all in all, either way, I think it was UCSD's map, certainly. They looked far more comfortable on the defending side of things. And even on the attack, where there was admittedly some success for Baker Swarm, they really struggled to keep it going. You know, most of it was just those first 3 rounds off of their pistol round win. And beyond that, it was around here and around there, but UCSD looked clean and confident the entire time. They let the odd round go, but it was mostly just because something really bloody happened in the first 10 seconds of a round, and they didn't get favorable trades. Can't really fault them for that. That happens to the best of teams. So very nice addition to the scoreline for UCSD and all of their fans. I mean, we're going to a map 3, which at the end of Split, I wasn't sure was a possibility, but here we are.
It's almost a complete storyline flip too with what we got from Split, right? Where Baker Swarm completely dominated the so many rounds in a row, denied any half for UCSD going on into their defense. But now we flip it all around. UCSD was like, okay, you know what? We'll just do all of this, but we'll do it 1 round better. We'll deny all of you in your second half for your attack, and we'll redeem ourselves going into our own defense. So yeah, map number 3, Paul, it's on the docket, it's on the table. We're gonna go to a short break, give everyone a chance to recover after the insanity that has been this Fracture map. So don't go anywhere. The exciting conclusion of Baker Swarm versus UCSD Gold is coming. It was a short break because we all knew you wanted it as quick as we can get it out to you. Okay, all right. UCSD Gold tying up the series 1-1 against Baker Swarm on the map of Fracture. Now we get the world tour. We get to go all the way to our final map of Haven, where this is where it all takes place, right? This is where one of these teams is going to take the week 1 dub.
Certainly. And I mean, a vastly different map for us to go to for the third one as well. We're going to see the stats from map number 2. I think Chrome coming to life certainly helped. I mean, the dude went 22 and 10. I mean, all those first kills as well. But the real name of the game for me was just how much more cohesive UCSD seemed as a squad. It wasn't Melvin always on his lonesome and the rest of the team getting chopped to bits. It was, for the most part, I mean, by and large, complete cohesive teamwork. And, you talked about the flipping of the narrative. The one thing I think absolutely flipped on its head was UCSD looked like the more planned team. Like they had more plans going into rounds. Whereas I think Baker Swarm, at least on Fracture, I think their comp looked a little bit more one-dimensional than it had to. I think there were a lot of rounds where, the main concept of their comp was kind of like those neon pushes, right? And trying to get aggressive, trying to go out one area with the neon and pinching onto attacking players. But when those didn't work, I think Baker Swarm really struggled to do much with their composition, which I don't think it has to be a one-dimensional comp. I talked about the flood retakes. We never really saw a full, actual flood retake. It was just attempts at normal retakes that didn't quite hit as Baker Swarm would have wanted. But I think it is far from a lost game for Baker Swarm if UCSD were able to dust themselves off after split. I certainly have faith that Baker Swarm can give us a good third map.
No, absolutely. And if there's ever a map that we talk about when it comes to collegiate, it's Haven, right? Outside of Ascent, outside of maybe one other map. It's
honestly, even over Ascent at this point.
Yeah. So you're going to look at how these two teams are playing out. You're going to see how well practiced both of these teams are. And I wouldn't be surprised if we're finally going to get away from that 13-5, 13-6 score line and maybe into something a little bit closer. At least is what we're hoping for here. And, talking about agent composition, talking about how we see our teams play themselves out. Listen, we got a Tejo for...
Okay. Slight variation to the Haven default composition coming in from Baker Swarm. They want to keep Rice Ballin on the Tejo instead of putting him over on the Sova. I think that gives you a lot of opportunity to get a little bit more early map control, but I think considering how big of a map Haven is, I worry that Tejo will be able to provide the same level of information. Being able to rotate, being able to anticipate the enemy team is ever so important. Rice Ballin does get good contact, though, at the very least in his pistol round.
Yeah, okay. A special delivery may slow the tide down for just a second, but now you're caught inside of the fault line. You're blinded out, but the rest of the team is already here to give you the fight back that you were looking for. Fight. Oh, solo, right, Demon. The shots all over the place. Couldn't land it on the Frost, the killing blow. Now it's down to ladder moves and the 1v2. This is going to be strong moments here for this Cypher if they're able to make this happen, right? You saw the shoulder of Wick. Like their namesake, just a little bit quicker on the draw. 25 HP, skirting by. UCSD takes a second pistol round.
And I think in that round, you see what I'm a little bit worried about for Baker Swarm's composition. I think Rice Ballin is going to have to just be face checking to get a lot of information, right? That being said, if he's going to be alone doing stuff like that, I think it is more tenable to do that with a Tejo than it would be a Sova. He, like we saw, the special delivery, tools to slow down executes, and even tools to play with Demon and Fate. You can see them. I mean, they're going to set up. They're going to try and get aggressive over an A, down weaponry. I mean, Demon's creeping up.
All you do is just forfeit control of mid, but that's not even an idea in UCSD's head that they want to go for just yet. But again, it's like you're saying, right? It's all of these players swarming up through A. The good news here is that Chrome only has the Sheriff, right? So it's not the greatest weapon to try and win out in a 1v3 if that does happen. And the drone didn't even see it there. They're gonna back away though, right? You heard the breach flash, your drone got destroyed. You don't know how many players on the other end of that. Loki Cow not even getting struck. What massive. Now they're trying to swarm on the site. Jumbo didn't even realize what was behind them on top of the box. It's Melvin.
And this pick is what Melvin made his name on. The Jet is quintessential for him. I mean, a cheeky little pick there from ladder moves, but I don't quite feel confident that it's going to be enough unless Demon hits just a spectacular shot onto Melvin here. Actually, Melvin retreats off the box. It's a little bit more tricky now. But now it's not. So,
Yeah.
This Jet is what Melvin was known for so long. And, I mean, Haven even, at least, is where I remember first seeing Melvin. Melvin being able to both rifle and op like a monster on this map.
And I think we're getting a good reason why, too, right? The execute on the site was perfect. You dash on, you updraft, you're already on top of the boxes. Dumbbell has no idea what's going on. And,
Yeah.
I mean, you're even giving your Jet, right, a rifle going into the second round that they get to hold on to for the bonus. And no one from UCSD, sans one person, fell. So this is a very feasible bonus for UCSD to win against Baker Swarm.
Deadly one at that. And they're just going to go straight on to B with the bonus. Oops, I don't know if that's where Melvin intended to go, and Fate will put him down, so, well, that doesn't really matter, it seems.
Wow.
Loki Cow trading in for a little bit, but Fate is undeniable.
Okay.
And a solid round for Baker Swarm. A good recovery. And this spells good things for how competitive this map could be.
That's what we're hoping for, right? That's what we're looking for. And if Fate is able to do things like that again, I mean, one player in backside is destroying UCSD. Whoever walked through, right? They look at one angle, they go to the other side, they go to the other side, where you're hoping for that entirety of the squad going through. They just weren't able to make that happen. And so, slight misstep, slight hiccup here, but now we have the full buy for both of the squads coming in.
And you can already see that guided salvo trying to get A control very firmly. The more I see this Tejo on A long, the less I'm concerned about it. If you're going to be able to get control this deep all the time. Someone spotted. The swing is crazy, and Demon comes out better for it. Loses Teo, will have to retreat. And now UCSD, they don't really have much else to do except forcefully bite into the line they were given on the A site. But they have to find Demon first.
This Jet is being sneaky, right? They've snuck into sewers. In comes the breach, full HP, tries to flash them out. Aftershock in the back lines. Meanwhile, wrapping all the way in the flank. They may not know any better about this either. And Fate with a wallbang headshot. Melvin is gone. Up goes the recon bolt. The spike still hasn't been planted yet either. Meanwhile, this entire time, Demon has snuck into your back lines, has rifled through all of the chaos, and has given Baker Swarm yet another round, and it's a tie series. Tie map, rather.
Really nicely done from Baker Swarm. And a bit of a confusing contest from UCSD. I mean, if the guided salvo was going to go A, you could tell that they knew, like, hey, guys, they did the guided salvo. They're going to walk up A lobby again. But they don't use any util. They just kind of swing out and lose a bunch of people, and it's a Jet. The Jet can just dash away. And you lose your Cypher and your Astro, the two people who, like, usually are on flank watch and usually are able to, like, control the areas of the map you're concerned about. So it's a really tough round for UCSD.
Absolutely is.
And I mean, this is just unstoppable, that guided salvo. Like, you have to go for a counterplay to this at some point. You can't let them keep getting away with all this map control.
Wow, that's... Okay, that trip's gonna haunt my dreams, I think. Right? You're looking at how difficult it is. You need to, I think... I don't know if they actually were able to shoot it down or if they needed to commit a shock dart to get rid of it, but it's still kind of annoying. Even more annoying, though, is that you don't have your Cypher anymore. So, flank watch galore is what you need to have here. But you got to be careful, too, because... Oh, Dumbbell and a Judge, close quarters, all of these delicious angles.
Will the flash hit, or is Melvin just dead? Well, that's the question. Oh, goodbye, Melvin. Oh, wait, maybe not.
Okay.
Instead it's Frost. Wow.
That's also
wait,
wild.
Melvin's cooking.
Melvin's cooking up something big. It might be the ace of the century, the 4-kill, the 4-piece, one more to go. And it's Chrome at the last second, but that's all that matters. All that matters is that you win these rounds. Maybe not if you're Melvin, but UCSD back in the lead.
I mean, a crazy thrifty there. Really unfortunate for Dumbbell that he wasn't able to get a little bit more out of that, not getting scouted and everything. And the fact that, I mean, Melvin wins that fight versus Rice Ballin, just basically completely dry, swinging all the way into A-Link. This is one of the reasons that Melvin is so deadly on this jet. Knives at the ready too. Quite a few good utility ults from UCSD. But I mean, Baker Swarm have the Armageddon, they have the Rolling Thunder. As long as Fate and Riceballin are able to get value out of these ults, it's hard to imagine them losing this round. That's such an early Armageddon.
Yeah, the mistiming on that was massive, right? They thought they would have been like fast pushing out through C long, but they didn't. And instead, look at this. They said, okay, you know what? Maybe not C. Let's go A. Let's fight over here. Should be a little bit easier for us. Unfortunately for them, that's where all of the Cypher utility is. So maybe them doing that early, Paul, was to just get them away from C.
But this is the problem that Baker Swarm's going to have. They have no information. They have no information. They have no idea. Yes, they're expecting to rotate back to A because nothing got caught C. But it's actually a ping pong back to the middle of the map. I mean, Fate is if Fate doesn't get one here, this is deadly. Chrome walking in dry ahead of the fault line. That's a little bit tough, but at least the spike will get planted. Yes, the Rolling Thunder not used.
Not used, but spike, like you said, still planted. Low-key cow inside a garage. They're not going to be ready for Riceballin in window. Take your time with the shots. I got scared for a second. Low-key cow went for the flick. The wall is going to come up, right? The Cosmic Divide there. Demon's going to protect themselves with the Cloud Burst. On the other side, though, Melvin, it doesn't matter if the Gravity Well is there. They still get the headshot. It's all over the place. You can tell they didn't know where to look. The Neural Theft to try and gather information for Baker Swarm. Get where the last of these players are. One more to go. Dumbbell ode spray through the wall. These rounds are coming down to the wire.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Whoa, man, what? That reminded me of the one really chaotic round on Fracture that we got. I mean, it was a super early ult in C, and then a ping pong around the map, and then unfortunately Chrome is just a little bit ahead of the timing on the fault line. A comedy of errors, honestly, across both of our teams, but Baker Swarm come out of it favorably, and because of that, UCSD, their economy is busted. Yes, the knives are ready, but this means, I mean, they can just go for a really hard hit on C. You just lob the knives in and go for it.
Okay, Demon misses that first shot. Let's see if, that is crazy. Melvin is alive. Wait, what? Melvin dies to the
with
classic.
the classic. Because of the wallbang body shot.
Ooh,
and then the judge, Wick, what are we doing? Swing it, buddy.
Special delivery. They want to go with again with the classic, but it's all just trying to distract them for Demon to pop off with that operator. And this is practice and coordinated from Baker Swarm to flawlessly step back into the lead.
All right. It's an eco round. I'm not going to fault UCSD too much about that one. A little bit silly. I think as soon as Melvin gets caught there, it's unfortunately over. He's trying to like scale silently up C long, hoping that Demon has fallen off that angle entirely. Not going to be expecting that this round. Instead, UCSD is setting their sights back towards A. The information here is going to be huge though, because without a guided salvo early and with that smoke instead, even this fault line, I mean, you just swing out and you realize, hey, they used a bunch of util, but nobody's home.
The other noteworthy talking point for UCSD is that they find a lot of success for the spike to be planted on B.
They're going B again.
Yeah, it's what's worked for them the most times. A hasn't panned out once. C, it was during the pistols and the anti-eco was the only time it worked for them there as well. So now you're going to take your chances here. You're in these close quarters.
Whoa.
Use the Rolling Thunder, but no one is here from UCSD. That was a brilliant paranoia to blind out low-key count, but everything is being traded back and forth, so the numbers are even. Spike is still going to be planted. Look at this wraparound again. The jet gap pass, the Cypher trip, so ladder moves is not going to be ready for this. They are not going to be aware of this. The spike still hasn't even been planted. It's going to happen on A.
I mean, Melvin fully bails out UCSD from this round, going completely wrong, but falls. And Chrome is so low. I'm shocked Chrome didn't get caught through the wall there.
I don't know how they didn't. It's gotta be some like slim margin of error. Meanwhile, guess what? Hey,
what
is our jet AFK?
Did he seed?
That's awful. Riceballin.
Or is this a save? This has to be a DC. Surely in a 2v2 you would go for this. I mean, Riceballin might just do it on his own.
No.
Chrome only has 6 HP, and he's looking for 2 players.
Yeah, and not only that, but Chrome is trying to play for safety, right? They're trying to play for the ultimate. Because they're running out of time, Riceballin has to ping that spike and try to get it out as quick as they can. But this is so heartbreaking. This is heartbreaking. Paul.
The tag comes through.
Oh my
But the
gosh.
shot is there.
Is there enough time?
But I don't think there's time.
I don't think there is either. That is heartbreaking, Paul. That is heartbreaking
Woof.
if your Jet has DC'd.
I mean, surely Demon wasn't just thinking someone would swing that, right? Yeah, it's a DC. All right, we're going to see a tech pause here in a second, folks. That is tough for Baker Swarm. Oh, and Demon is immediately back.
I can't believe it.
Woof. Sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. I mean, an extremely valiant effort from Riceballin. And the brutal thing is, I mean, none of that happens if there's not a DC, right? If Demon is able to stay in the lobby, you're not going to use the Hunter's Fury if you don't know where the second player is, right? But if you know he's DC'd, then you can go for it.
It is.
Either way, still guns here for Baker Swarm. So yes, that round was tough. Yes, it felt winnable. And the odds were against them. But they can still make this happen. A tied game with guns still on the table. UCSD actually have a worse economy despite winning that round.
All my headcanon is that Demon was holding that angle for the secret 6-man that's on the UCSD squad. Just hiding out somewhere in there. It's the ghosts of Fracture Past, I guess. I don't know.
Holding it in case one of us swung it. You know, one of the casters.
Yeah, well, good news for them is that I would be gone immediately. Just decimated. So it is tied though 4-4 after what was a heartbreaking round, even through the efforts of Riceballin by themselves. That Hunter's Fury enough to throw a wrench into all their plans. Here it is though, Fate! Quick pop flash out there! And you know that Baker Swarm is angry from what happened in that previous round. Dumbbells on the high ground. Wait, they didn't see the barrel! They're right below you, buddy! You just need to look at your toes, man! Dumbbell living is unbelievable!
Woof. All right. I mean, that's just a tough round for UCSD. But that's gotta feel good for Baker Swarm. You just lost a round because of a DC, and to come back and immediately flawless UCSD. I mean, what a read on the play in mid, right? The fact that, like you mentioned, UCSD, their good old reliable has been the B site thus far. They haven't liked A, they haven't liked C. They've tried them both, and they end up on B over and over again. So just cut them off at the pass. Get them right when they're trying to creep up to B. Don't let them go for the execute. Don't let them catch people off guard. Oh, and Melvin.
Okay.
Nice dodge.
Yeah, we just go for well, Whip didn't dodge it though.
Oh.
So you've lost your Astra, you've lost your smokes, you've lost a great deal of odds towards getting onto the site. The Omen Smoke may help you out just a smidge here, right? But Headermoo still has eyes in heaven and no one is gonna stop them. And did you even use a Rolling Thunder? This is just disrespect. Now, right? All right, well, Frost has some disrespect of their own. Fall.
I mean, hey. Oh, man. User error, unfortunately, Sam.
Yeah, user.
Yeah. All good. Baker Swarm. What a couple of rounds they've had since that DC came back. I mean, really unreal. I'm very impressed, especially with the way that Baker Swarm have just been able to completely read into UCSD Gold. And I think UCSD are biting off a little bit more than they can chew in some of these rounds. You know, I think it was a little bit too fancy to try and beat the guided salvo in a lobby like that, especially with like the fault lines that have constantly been pushed there, right? A little bit too much being done to try and get an advantage. He saw him, but he couldn't quite hit the shot.
Smart though from Demon. Just get out of there, right? We're seeing it again. Really good clear, but Fade is a demon right on these sites. Means what? Go ahead and change names real fast. Demon, by the way, yes, they're still alive. They're still on the
Not
map.
this shorty again, man.
Still popping off with that shorty.
I just feel UCSD, it feels like nothing they can do will catch Baker Swarm off guard at this point. Like, keep in mind, 2 of the 4 rounds that UCSD have won were kind of courtesy of the pistol. which were some good rounds, don't get me wrong, but it's tough when you've only won 2 actual gun rounds on your attacking side. And I mean, somebody's gonna die to the op. Somebody's gonna do it, Sam. I'm gonna be so sad.
I'm holding my breath here, right?
They'll have an owl drone and someone dies to the. Okay, you're using the owl drone. Yes, that's what I love to see. Utility, and it doesn't force him off the angle, so he just comes back.
Melvin!
What a shot!
What a shot! Needed to have happened, and it did. Right? No more operator for UCSD to try and fight against, and Baker Swarm has put themselves inside of Garage 2, right? Both of your initiators are there, and you may even get that flashbang out towards mid, but the good news here is at the very least, your Cypher is still on A. They still have the trip set up so they can slow things down if need be. That Trapwire is going to be triggered. It's going to be that calling card that the flood in is about to happen. Guys, we need the support through, but that's Frost gone. And that's also the spike with it, so they need to go back into lane. The good news is, Baker Swarm doesn't know that.
Well, but even still, I mean, the pacing of this is tough. Util at the ready. Here comes the flood retakes I've been waiting 2 maps for.
Eventually, right?
But they have to plant. They're waiting for the plant to go back again.
And
They got the planter, and then have they gotten another?
Ladder is just dominating inside of Heaven, by the way. That's a 4th one for them. They did not leave Heaven once and took down almost all of UCSD. Baker Swarm, this is their half, 8-4.
A dominant half from Baker Swarm. And with the way the other 2 maps have gone, and the fact that UCSD have not taken a timeout yet this series. I mean, there has been no more pivotal of a pistol round than here, and now UCSD, they need to start the road to their recovery. And I'm not even sure things get easier for them on the attacking side. I mean, it's only really a slight difference in compositions. Yes, I think the Astra will be a little bit better on this side of the map, but otherwise, I think Baker Swarm's composition is very playable either direction. It's not going to struggle on the attack. If anything, I think the Teo is going to be a real menace to try and hold a sight against. And that Cypher's going to find that out the hard way if he's not careful in this pistol round.
I mean, that Tejo can just blast away all of your util, kind of like a Sova can, but a little less.
This is such a passive setup.
Yeah, exactly, right? Demon's just gonna walk into the camera. Loki Cal has nowhere to go except for inside of their cage. But again, you're seeing these jets dash up onto the site. So on the other side, they're using the cage to keep themselves safe. They reload and they want more. It's everything you could hope for from your duelist and more.
Yeah, tough play there for Loki Cal. I mean, there's nowhere good to run. The cage is going to be the safest you can go to, but you have to imagine that the demon will charge top sight. Although that works. All right, when in doubt, run out. All win gunfights.
Yeah, that's all you got to do.
Frost is going to try and keep an eye on anyone coming through Garage, but it's Dumbbell in the smoke. They swing in, but they weren't ready for Frost on the other side. Looking at different direction, hoping to catch someone off guard. But there you have it, UCSD Gold. Got a pistol round, and this keeps them in the fight for Haven.
Look, never doubt their mechanics, never doubt their ability to take gunfights. In a round where they're not at an economic disadvantage, in a round where there's no rifles where you can get spammed while walking out of a choke, yeah, I'll swing it. Why not? We all swing at the same time, we all shoot the same targets. Hey, they're going to drop faster than we do. Nicely done by UCSD. That is, like you said, a pistol round they very much needed, and even a rifle that they're going to give to Chrome. Melvin going to be set up with the Outlaw here on a long. It's going to be just the dart to get that. Can the guided salvo actually push Melvin off of this position on a long, I wonder?
Oh, yes. I've done that.
Well, but will they do it is what I mean.
Oh, no. It doesn't look like
now they might.
Yeah, they're going to try and play around for that information, but instead of using that guided salvo to push them off of that long sight line, it's just going to be them fighting. And now there's no chance of that happening. Fade wants to go out a little bit further.
Nice.
You hear the Outlaw, and you already know what's coming. Ladder move had to try and hold their ground. Wait, whoa. Demon. Okay, give me a second here, buddy. All right, that almost went awry for UCSD. The crazy jet and the Bucky. Hoping to dream, but you're picking up all the valuable weapons. And UCSD still has some fight left to give.
Oh, long-range Bucky kill on a Melvin, too. A little bit silly. But like you said, the Vandal and the Outlaw recovered, so this is a very potent bonus as well.
2 rifles.
Thus far, yeah, 2 rifles and an Outlaw. Very nice from UCSD. All they need to do is deal significant damage here to Baker Swarm. Ooh, and they're going to try and set Melvin up in mid. I don't know if I like this. There's a lot of ways you can get assailed from here. Melvin in the back, too. Frost going out. That's the Vandal in hand.
Yeah.
Does he get in the corner? He finds the timing, and that's the spike!
Yep, the Rice Ballin in the middle of using their utility. It all comes down to Demon doing things like that, but Melvin has the headshot with the Outlaw. This pesky jet that has been a thorn in the side for UCSD. As long as they get dealt with relatively fast, it makes things so much easier. Feels like smoother sailing for the rest of the round.
And UCSD can just straight up play together, let them plant on site, and when you hear them planting, go out and get those rifles. Go get the rifles back. If you go get the rifles back, you're not even going to be at a disadvantage coming into this round.
I like Chrome playing in the corner of CT in case they want to play out through a link to go to B. They're going to be having that eyes on there. So even if they fall, right, even if they lose their life or get traded out, you'll have Melvin on the uptake almost immediately with the Outlaw. So here it is. Spike is going to end on A, but if Fate wants to try and play around with the timing, could be devious from Chrome here to take on the 1v1.
Owl Drone at the ready, though. UCSD, they're just going to all play together. And that Vandal was recovered. So 2 rifles and an Outlaw. Fate has to back off the angle. To Melvin! Okay. He takes some damage, but is that pick actually worth it? The Owl Drone doesn't tag him either, but low-key Cow will still get it done.
Left Dumbbell alone in a 1v2. Low-key Cow, some crouch spamming, some spray and pray. UCSD Gold has a bonus in their hands. It's the second house, Paul. I don't know what these second halves are made of, man. But it's like the coin flip of whichever team is able to take the pistol round win. They're just nonstop.
One last time out here from Baker Swarm. One last chance for them to try and show us that magic they had on Split, but I don't think it's going to be as simple this time. UCSD, I mean, what favorable contact that they had in the middle of the map, and I don't think that that's something that they're going to be trying anytime soon. They could go for it in maybe a later round of this half, but in the next couple of rounds, especially since Baker Swarm just lost their gun round, just chill, UCSD. That's all you have to do. It's on Baker Swarm to try and claw back this half now. Sure, you're a round down technically, but you have the momentum, UCSD. And the Hunter's Fury to boot.
I love this proactivity from Baker Swarm too, from each individual player, because it's been a different player every single time calling the timeout. It's just, we got to get our heads back on straight. We got to figure out what we're doing wrong. How did we lose that bonus round? Where do we need to tighten the bolts of this ship? And we're talking about the Tejo too, and I think we're starting to feel a lot more of the downfall of what this agent can be on Haven as opposed to the Sova when it comes to that attack, right? You just gave up that mid space. No one had eyes on mid, where a recon bolt could have made things so much more difficult. Granted, right, Rice Ballin could have thrown out with a spider drone into mid, seeing if anyone was going to push out from there, but they just gave up that space for free. You cannot give up Haven space without any fight back or any form of resistance.
The Teo alters the default composition more than you would anticipate. You can't play for information. You have to do something like this, where you go. You trust that hopefully someone's going to get caught in the util. This time nobody does, and all of you get spotted on the camera. And you just have to hope that your util will not go to waste. At least they'll get a plant out of this more than likely. Well, Hunter's Fury at the ready, though.
Yeah, the second they ping that spike right, we have a call out of it happening. Sova's playing safe too. They're going in occasionally, using a couple of shock darts. Low-key Cal is going to drop out from heaven.
Low-key!
Rice Ballin has the fight back with the sheriff.
He delivers a rifle!
Yeah, and he delivers a rifle. The Blaze Storm is not hitting them. Melvin is just over up on the top. They're going to spray through the smoke, but Rice Ballin, that sheriff is getting so much mileage from them. How much more can you get in a 1v3 though is going to be the question. Go over to the other side, Rice Ballin, because there is your incoming death. UCSD Gold, it is tied on Haven again.
Man, UCSD. Look, I know they won the round, but that felt really bold. Considering the position you were in, UCSD were chomping at the bit to try and fight. They were like, why aren't they planning? Why aren't they planning? Why aren't they planning? All right, just go fight. Fight them. Go. I don't know if that's what you needed to do, but hey, like I said earlier, it all comes out in the wash. It works for them, and now Melvin has pivotal op in his hands, is going to just hold C. Don't even worry about it.
Yep.
Well, especially with all this util. See, and that's the great thing about the information from the server. You spot the omen there specifically, so you know, hey, all this util plus the omen is there. That's at least 3, probably 4 players.
Now they're gonna use the spider drone, so now you know the Omen and the Tejo is here, so that's more of information than you could ever be hoping for if you're UCSD, and that's gonna be good enough to bring Sova back into this fight. Armageddon at the right possible moment too. That's how they're gonna force him to get off of the site, give it up, and let them play around it. Loki Cow was stunned out for so long too. They tried to go for the fight, but it cost them their life to make that happen.
Yeah.
4v5, Baker Swarm for his advantage.
Loki was stuck on the site. There wasn't going to be much he could do there, so now that 4v5 for the retake. How good will these flashes be from Frost? How much damage can Melvin deal? He's got an op. Really going to be able to get much? No, with him falling, with him losing the op there, and not even getting a pick out of it, I think it's going to be a save.
You kind of have to, right? They're all going to go up into heaven, grab the operator, make sure they can get that at the very least. Give it back to their jet, but yeah, the calling has been made. Save your weapon, save the opportunities. And Paul, it's very weird to say it, right? For the first time in this series, across 3 maps, finally the opposing team has gotten around in the second half.
Yeah, it just took us 20-some rounds of Valorant. It's fine, don't worry about it.
It's okay.
Or even 30-some rounds of Valorant. Either way, Baker Swarm clawing back a minor lead. With the op and 2 rifles saved, though, UCSD should not be struggling in economy. And even if they were, the Blade Storm is available. So now it's just a question of Baker Swarm. They've had some success toward A. But how long will this success last? I'm a little bit surprised to see that UCSD isn't adapting. They're not putting I would have liked to have seen Melvin at least try to play. Not like full committal to A-Long, because yeah, that guided salvo. But like play where Chrome is. You would have had more success than he did, probably, with an op.
Yeah.
Here.
That C is not seeing any signs of life yet either. Maybe something inside of Garage, but what was going to be seen there? Fate, unfortunately, can't win out against Frost and no one to trade either. They get away with their life. They get away unpunished. And that just sent everything all topsy-turvy. But Baker Swarm, this is so strange from them, right? Where
yeah, this is very non-committal.
Yeah, the flood through from A worked out so perfectly, but now they're just spread out across the map.
I mean, Baker Swarm, I think they just haven't necessarily gotten the full read on how UCSD plays. They were expecting a heavier rotate, so they wanted to try and take advantage of what they thought were going to be holes on the map. But UCSD just stuck to their guns. They didn't really shift anywhere they didn't need to. They technically have every avenue of the map covered that they need to right now, if only barely with this camera. The question is how successful will Low-Key Cow be in surviving or dealing damage?
Massive amounts of damage, right? You got rid of ladder moves. So you're doing the world's work of trying to keep this alive. Oh! In coordination with Frost! Paul, it is back and forth with who's in the lead, who's tied, but it's still UCSD gold dominating the second half.
I'd say Baker Swarm were their own worst enemy in that round, but it was actually Low-Key Cow. Low-Key Cow was just a little bit more harmful, though that mid-round was a bit bizarre from Baker Swarm. Low-Key Cow has just been proving... Look, I've said it before, I'll say it again. My favorite flavor of Cypher is ratty. Hide inside your own cages, play inside smokes, stay on the site and make it deadly and confusing, waste the enemy's time. That's how I love Cyphers to play, especially on Haven.
All right.
Here, as the pivot comes in, finally Baker Swarm not going for the play over in A-Long. That's spotted. Melvin will get set up. I don't think Low-Key Cow is going to be doing too good. He runs forward!
He goes inside of his cage! David didn't see him passing into it at all! And that even gives the neural theft up. So they see where the rest of the squad is hiding. They see where the rest of the squad is going to be. And guess what? The rest of the UCSD squad is here! Oh, and now they got to be pushed out by the aftershock. That's still good. That's fate! Fate!
Oh, once again, UCSD, they bite off more than they could chew. They could have just held the site. They could have just waited.
Oh my God!
Wah! Done.
No, it's
Surely.
not. The ace. It has to be the ace to win.
He has no HP. He's making so much noise. The shorty, my God.
Melvin, his own worst nightmare becomes the dream UCSD needed. Blue skies for them as Melvin turns the shorty back onto Baker Swarm to finish off the low health Fate. What a bizarre round. I thought for sure UCSD had it, and then for some reason, all of them swinging along when they really just didn't need to. But then the whiff.
Oh, yeah.
And then Melvin with his knives. Unreal. I could talk about that round for hours, but we have to go on round 20 now. And UCSD have a lead for the first time in so long.
Melvin was so close to fall into the guided salvo, right? 33 HP. That's all they're going to be able to work with. And somehow Demon is winning these battles against Chrome. But going up against Melvin, now this spider drone is massive, right? It's going to catch someone out. Wait, no, I don't know if it did catch Melvin. I don't know if it saw them. Hey, he might actually still be under the cover of protection. I don't know.
Even if he is, surely you flash this. And the neural theft too. Melvin will be forced off this angle.
It's low-key cow again, right? All
Not the
way
shorty.
Lurking. I was about to say, right, not the shorty. But even with that rolling thunder, it was fought back again, so it's a 2v2. Wick's on the other side of the smoke. Fate's gonna spray, right? 46 HP, but Wick is still alive, and that's the crux of the situation. They're the only one on the site, though. It could be a minor pinch play once Loki Cow regroups with the team, but you're hearing all of the noise being made. Oh, that's so smart! That's so smart!
Nice.
Just one more, though.
Reposition red into Baker Swarm. They take a breath. They take a moment to collect themselves. And they'll tie us up at double digits. Really nicely done. I thought that reposition from Wick was excellent. But Baker Swarm, they cleared out Hell. And through clearing out Hell, they got enough of an angle around the default box that Rice Ballin was able to almost assuredly say, hey, either Wick is sitting in this corner specifically, or he's left and we can plant. He gets the better end of it. The guided salvo knocks down Wick. And now it is anyone's game. And it's about to get bloody. Melvin's setting up for the sewer op, a classic collegiate jet maneuver. Wait, he doesn't have an op, it's a rifle.
It's just a rifle. And that rifle's been seen. Rice balling. The slider moves. They're popping out of the smoke. It's all just falling apart. Melvin, he's not landing any shots. Meanwhile, his entire team is gone. It's the shorty again. Shorty, meat classic. It's a deadly combination, right? It's like two titans meeting against each other. A movable object and an unstoppable force. But low-key Cal, it's a sheriff. That's all they got to their name. In a 1v4, you just gotta throw your life and get away with whatever you can.
A low economic round for UCSD, so I don't fault them for going for something a little bit more aggressive, but they're going to be missing that one round on the scoreboard all the same. Now UCSD, they have to buy into this, and with just a Cosmic Divide in their pocket, I mean, it's tough. They're ages away from both the Rolling Thunder and the Hunter's Fury, the two ults you would think are really capable of swinging around. Meanwhile, much more potent ults on the horizon here. I'm looking most keenly at that Armageddon from Rice Ballin. And again, UCSD are trying to meet fire with fire. They're trying to outplay this aggressive maneuver in a long, but the guided salvo is so brutal. It's so potent.
It's almost a
Hail Mary. You ever catch them here? They're past the fault line.
Cool. It really is a Hail Mary, but that is what they needed, right? They needed to put all the players on A. They needed to try and go for this aggressive push. You may have lost the numbers, but you dealt the same exact towards Baker Swarm. So low-key Cal, we've seen what the Cypher is capable of. We know how deadly they can be. The tripwire has been gotten rid of. The spider drone comes in. They have been seen. They know they're in the backside, but now they're playing in the smoke. And if you're smart, if you know how this goes, you know that they're going to be popping out of it, and they are on the ball. Nothing being left to chance. Nothing being left aside from Baker Swarm. You go for the quick jiggle peek, Wick is gone, and the final piece has fallen for Baker Swarm to get match and series point.
You can tell UCSD, their backs are against the wall, and they know it. All of them going for just the tiniest of plays that they feel like they have to go for. Low-key Cow swinging out the smoke because he feels like he has to get a pick. He has to stall. Wick trying to sneak into a corner, trying to catch someone off guard because he feels like if he doesn't get a pick, if he doesn't catch someone off guard, then there's no way for them to win. But Yes, those can work once in a while, but it has not been coming to fruition for UCSD. And again, they're gonna try and just tackle this head on. Here comes Demon, though. It's not even the long play. Demon's up too short, taking his own guided salvo and getting dumpstered. Okay, now I think it's Baker Swarm getting a bit too bold.
Yeah, that's exactly what you needed right there. Play into the mistakes like that, but Rice balling, not making any mistakes with those shots. The Armageddon to get over on the other side. Wick
What a
tries to
spot.
go for the headshot. One more to go, one less player. And UCSD Gold still has this. It's down to the 1v1. Low-key Cal has been the Cypher of the hour, but now they need to become the Cypher of the year for UCSD. Rice balling, eyes appropriating on all of the opposing sightlines. But low-key Cal, this is nigh. This is going to be everything for this player, for this Cypher. They need to go for the spike defuse. Playing inside of hell. Loki Cal has to clear every single angle, every single corridor! And Rice balling with a clutch factor gene for Baker Swarm. It's a 2-1 series for them.
And finally, we get the action we had been waiting for. We get a close, contested map on the final map of Haven. I mean, so phenomenally done. That was such an exciting map. Even when the rounds were a little bit one-sided, it was flawless. And when they weren't one-sided, it was chaos. Both these teams dragging each other into the mud. But you can see Baker Swarm, how practiced they are, how well they work together. There was hardly a round outside of Fracture where I felt like Baker Swarm weren't all on the same page. That sort of teamwork proved invaluable for Baker Swarm. UCSD, a very valiant effort for their first game of this season of NECC. Yeah, they're not out or anything. They got a long season left ahead of us. A tough way to start their season, but they've got a lot more to play for. And Baker Swarm, a team we're all going to have on our radars now, I feel.
Oh, absolutely. And I think we all need to take a look at the stats that just came out of this game because this was the most contentious one that we've had so far.
You're giving Fate 5 first bloods. For your initiator, right? You think that would probably be going over towards Demon, but they actually had more of a quiet game. But your initiators, again, Fate and Riceball in 28-14, 22-14, and where Melvin, right, they're getting back on the jet. It just wasn't enough for UCSD to eke across even into overtime.
And honestly, I think Melvin versus Fate is a great head-to-head because Fate has really been the one to keep an eye on Melvin most of this series. And now here on Haven, I think on the defense, I mean, it was Fate. A lot of those plays on B in the first half where UCSD tried to get onto B and Melvin would dash onto site. I remember that Fate 3K from the back of site where he was playing around Gong and he just looked untouchable from there, right? I mean, phenomenal stuff from Fate and the rest of Baker Swarm. I can't wait to see what they have in store for us. I'm glad we get to add some more names into the higher echelons of Collegiate Valorant. It's going to be a great season, Sam.
It really is going to be a great season. And I can't believe week 1 is already coming to a close. Though possible, if there was ever a way to start it, though, this was definitely the one. And if this is what we have in store for the rest of it, my goodness gracious. You know what? I'm going to need to get some G Fuel, stay hydrated, keep myself energized, and maybe some Winzel's Farm on the back end too.
Ooh, that sounds good.
I know, right? Like, I don't know if anyone in here has seen those ads, but they're equal parts hilarious and equal parts like, I really want some jerky right now.
Yeah, that too, yeah. There we go.
It really is. But make sure that you go ahead and hit the follow on the channel so that way you get notifications to when we go live because we still have more action happening and a variety of different games throughout the week, including tomorrow. It's going to be League of Legends at 8:30 Eastern. We have Rainbow Six Wednesday, Rocket League on Thursday, and finally, to top it all off, I think a game that's near and dear to our heart, Paul, is a little Overwatch action. Ooh. Right, yeah, so we got...
It's good for some Overwatch, some League. I mean, all those sound like bangers to me. I'm going to be tuned in. I'm going to be tuned in this week. We got a lot of collegiate. It's starting back up.
Oh, it does feel so good to have collegiate start back up. So thank you to all of you for watching. Again, make sure to hit the follow button. Check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Twitter. Make sure to follow all of the social medias to get notifications on the important upcoming everythings that are going to be going on. But until the next stream, everyone, we'll see you then.